Que lo que YouTube family, thank you so much once again for stopping by and tuning in to another episode here out of the box reviews. Today we're checking out Storm Arena's Street Fighter Alpha 3 Ryu. So here I would like to read a quick little bio. Now I found this bio in fightersgeneration.com. And I am scrolling down to the section which speaks about Street Fighter Alpha 3, and it says 2 years later, during Street Fighter Alpha 3, Ryu continues to be troubled by what Akuma had told him. He meets a woman named Rose, who tells him that he cannot defeat Bison unless he fights him at the cost of his soul. When Ryu confronts Bison, he is defeated despite putting up a valiant fight. Bison takes the semi-conscious Ryu and begins brainwashing him. Bison attempts to use Ryu's Satsui no Hadou to strengthen his own psycho power, but is eventually interrupted by Ken, Sakura, and Sagat, each of them having followed Ryu for their own reasons. While Ken and Sakura distract Bison, Sagat challenges the brainwashed Ryu and quickly notices that Ryu isn't himself at all. Sagat urges Ryu to come to his senses to confront Bison. Somehow Ryu is able to overcome Bison's brainwashing and destroys Bison temporarily. But anyways, enough of that. We are here to check this man out. We're gonna check it out right now. Alright, so starting off at the top of his hair, we can see some lines, some sculpted lines all throughout his hair there on the top. And back here, we see his long headband, which it is textured, and the headband does swivel all around, so that's pretty cool. And they just came out. As we continue going all around, we see his ears, and we see his infamous eyebrows, which is definitely accurate. If y'all seen the Street Fighter stuff by now, if y'all haven't, y'all must be crazy. But yeah, he has the hair up here that is soft plastic, so you can kind of move it around. But yeah, he has a sculpted hair, and I like the fact that they are sculpted a little bit. You can kind of see that there's some string hairs sculpted on top of the ones on the front here that are hanging. So that's pretty neat that they did that, and they included all of that sculpt. Here, looking at Ryu's face, we see that he is younger than what we've been seeing. And I like that the actual face sculpt does have some shapes to it, as you can see there. The jawline, the chin area. And now Storm did something different here. Storm Collectibles used to have the rubber top here, which by the way, this is a rubber chest piece. They used to have the neck connected to it, but this time around it's disconnected, which is, I'm okay with it. The paintwork does match and everything, even though it's different material, it does match. And this time it gives you those movement and better range for the neck articulation, so that's pretty good. And I also like this as well because it's, if y'all seen some of my other videos, I know with Goro, and I think it was Sagat, I believe it was, that from switching head sculpts, the neck area on the top paint would start chipping. So I prefer it this way, even though it does cut into the sculpt a little bit, but this way it preserves the paintwork and doesn't damage your figures, you know. So I like that. But yeah, chest area, you can see this man is muscular. Matter of fact, let me show you all that right now, right? And it's pretty cool because this part does swivel around and you can remove it. So there you go. This piece is separate, so you want to be careful because you don't want to lose this. And now that I have this in hand, I do wish that this was painted black instead of like the flesh color. Yeah, so what you want to do, you want to put his arms back, you want to bang bang bang, do all of this cool stuff and get that out. And now that we have him bare, this is what he looks like. Now I am not particularly a fan of this cut right here. I just prefer them to just all one piece. We can see all of his muscle definition there, skinnier here, but he is definitely toned out. Look, all that muscle definition. And I do like the fact that they gave the skin some shading and not just one color. He does have some lights and some darker areas there. While we're here looking at the arms, arms looks really good. This piece is separate, so I appreciate that because it helps you with, you know, if you're taking pictures and whatever and you want to hide the joints, you can move that around to be able to move the joint, to hide the joint, you know. So I appreciate that. And it is a rubber material. The gloves doesn't, it's like it has some texture to it, but not really. But it's like very, very faint, but it's nicely done nonetheless. And I like the fact that the hand is like a soft material, like a soft rubber, so if you don't which helps prevent breaking the peg. So I appreciate that Storm gives us these soft hands. Now that we got the gi back on, you can see the gi does have some folds, does have some shadows, some nice, it is weathered too. Like it does have like a little bit of black wash all throughout and folds. It helps it stand out, so I appreciate that. And the gi is also textured all throughout, and that's the back. And going down to the belt again, the belt is textured all throughout, so we appreciate that. This time around, Street Fighter 2, he has some words here. I believe it says, I think something heaven, I think it says, but in Alpha, I don't believe that he did have the letters here yet. So just keep that in mind, and it is accurate. Now going down to his pants. Pants is textured all throughout, as you can see. And it does have this sculpted little line going all the way down. And we do see that same sculpted line in the inside portion here. So I like the continuity of that. And it is textured all throughout, even including, which to me this is really cool, even including here on the knee joint, because it's not just, you know, textured and then just a flat white. No, the texture continues all throughout, even on the knee joints, so I appreciate that. And then going down to his feet, you already know those Street Fighter feet, they're big little toes, but the toes do have some sculpted toenails, and we do have a hinge here, which we'll talk about that later. But yeah, and then in the bottom here, just flat. Cool stuff. For articulation, starting with the headband, I mean, if you want to get technical, it does swivel, so that is pretty neat. Head goes all around, including the neck. As you see, the neck also went all around. With the neck being separated this time around, you can have some really cool range there. You can do that, oh no you didn't, you know. For the arms, it does go up and down. It does have that butterfly joint. That's as close as his arms can get. And arm does go all around. Does have that bicep swivel. And nice elbow joint there, you know. Pretty dope. Hand is on a ball joint, so he can move it everywhere and up and down. For the top portion of the body, he can lean, okay, and then forward about that much, and then back about that much. But using the whole thing, he can move back even further and forward even more, to the side and to the side. And to show you guys the articulation with the gi off, kind of the same deal, you know. Arms do go around still, has that butterfly joint, you know, everything's still the same. This time around, arms, they kind of go a little tiny bit closer, and you just get a little bit more range from the top. And of course, with this additional articulation piece here, going to go forward, but yeah, it does look kind of weird when you have them without it. But yeah, just, you know, showing you guys a little range. By the way, he can do a 360, and he can do the splits. You can see there, do the splits. And he does have that drop down feature. He does have that thigh cut there. And then he can kick forward pretty high. And then with the knee joints, pretty good articulation there. And then for the shin area, he does have a swivel there that you could do a 360 with. Then goes down and goes up. He could do a 360. He could do a 360 the foot, but the whole joint is gonna want to go with it, you know. But if you hold it, you can do the 360 for sure, you know. So that's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. You know, it's always a plus. It's always a plus. And then, of course, toe hinge. You need this. I don't care how much you're spending on a figure. You always need these toe hinge. Okay. Ryu does come with this angry face, which is nicely done. You can see the teeth that are sculpted in there. Mouth is painted nicely, and he does look angry. He does look angry. You can kind of see in between the eyebrows there a little bit of sculpted anger. Not Satsui no Hadou angry, but you know, he is pretty upset here, and he is not missing his headband. I like the fact that Storm Arena did include an additional extra headband that you can connect there. You know, you can connect it there like bam, 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 bam. You know what I'm saying? Hair is a little bit different here. So you can see here, it's kind of flowing down, whereas on this head sculpt, it's kind of swifting to the side a little bit there. But yeah, this is the angry face. We do have the Hadouken hands. Soft material, so you can move the finger there. Pretty good, a little squishy, you know, a little squishy. But you can use these either to pose home doing the Hadouken, or, you know, just kind of like fighting stance, you know, and kind of pose them doing hand gestures. Cool stuff, pretty cool stuff. Ryu does come with his effects. So here we kind of see that it's like a glossy white transitioning over to a darker blue over here. And you see that little hole there? That's because Storm, they gave us a stand for this that you will soon see. But yeah, nice little Hadouken effect. And as I said, here it is with the stand. Is what we've seen before with Storm Collectibles stand for the effects. It does come with 3 little tower thingy majiggers. I don't know what to call it, but you don't want it that high. You can break it down a little bit more and just use 2, you know, and you can place it in any pegs that you want. You can use that same stand for the actual stand for Ryu. And cool thing is, once you plug it in, you can either swivel this around. This part, you can take it up and down. This portion here can go up or down, and also side to side. And I don't know why they gave us 2 of these. I'm not 100% sure, but I've been using this one. This one feels, I don't know, it's really strong and resistant. But yeah, pretty cool stand. And for those of you that have been following me, or Storm in general, yeah, I know that Storm likes to include little backdrops. We have Ryu stage, it's a little nighttime. There's the back. But yeah, so that's a wrap up on my review on Storm Arena's Street Fighter Alpha 3 Ryu. I don't really like to say, you know, this company is better than the other one, you know, because they're all good in their own way. To receive the Storm Collectibles detail paintwork in a smaller scale, at the same price as Jada, bruh. With that being said, this is good. This is great. I like everything about it. I like the details. I like the face expressions. I like the hair sculpt. I like the details in the clothing. Headband can swivel around. His belt can swivel around. You know, his knees are textured all throughout. Figure is great. The stand, you gotta kind of, if you're gonna have him throwing the Hadouken, and you gotta have to play with it a little bit to kind of have it level to him, because if you use a 3 stand, the little 3 pieces, then it's too high, but then if you don't, it's too low. But for the Bible verse of the day, as we know, Ryu is constantly wandering around, walking everywhere and traveling and trying to figure out who he is in the midst of all of these fighting. But I also want to tell you, people that are watching, if you're wondering who you are, purpose, and all of that, I do want to say this. 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 9, and I'm reading from the English Standard Version. It says, "But you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for his own possession, that you may proclaim the excellencies of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light." You are a royal priesthood. You are chosen by God. You do have purpose. He has called you out of the darkness into the light. All right? You don't have to be just wandering around aimlessly, trying to fight your way through life. Because you have purpose. You have purpose in Christ. You have purpose in God. He has called you. And you are chosen to be a part of his holy family. So I'll leave you out with that. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. Stay tuned for those pictures at the end. Also, y'all can follow me on Instagram to see more pictures. And listen, man, I really appreciate y'all taking the time out to check this out with me. And as always, y'all be blessed. Peace out. Peace out.